I have another review for you guys, and I did read this one on my Kindle, so let's get into it. As always, I will leave the book and my rating here for you guys, but I recently finished reading The Tenant by Frida McFadden, and I did rate this one a 3.5 stars out of 5. I've been reading so many emotional books lately, so I kind of felt like I needed a palate cleanse, and of course, I gravitated towards Frida McFadden's books because that will always do the trick for me. In my opinion, her books are so fast paced, definitely a quick read, and usually are pretty thrilling and captivating. I will say that The Tenant was written from the POV of a male character, which isn't really her typical thing, but I personally really enjoyed it because I feel like it is so interesting to hear the male's perspective on a situation. And as always with all of her books, there are definitely some likable and unlikable characters, and this book definitely didn't disappoint in that aspect at all. Overall, I will say the book is definitely thrilling, pretty interesting storyline, and a great plot twist. The characters do definitely make the book, but in my personal opinion, it isn't really at the top of my list for one of her favorites. The main character is Blake. He is the male point of view for the book, and I will say that his character is pretty interesting, but I did find him kind of annoying at certain points of the book. By annoying, I mean he seems like he can spiral out of control very easily, and you definitely see that impression in the book a lot of the time. Krista is the other main character, and she is Blake's fiance, and her character is one that I honestly did not enjoy. I just really felt like she was up to something throughout the entire book, and lo and behold, she was actually one of the villains in the story. And Whitney, who is the tenant in the book and kind of portrayed as the villain, I actually really enjoyed her character the most. Even though Blake was trying to pit Krista against Whitney and kind of pointing all the fingers at Whitney as if she was actually doing something, I kind of felt like throughout the book things were just not adding up, and it just didn't make sense for her to be the actual villain of the story. Also, because the name of the book is The Tenant, and I kind of felt like actually making the tenant in the story the villain was kind of giving away a little bit too much too quickly. And of course, by the end of the book, my thoughts were actually right in saying that Whitney was not the main villain of the story. But I will say that there is like an interesting twist at the end where she does have some kind of negative characteristics about her personality and what her purpose actually was with Krista and also with Blake. So overall, I did enjoy the book, not as much as I hoped to, but I do think that a 3.5 rating is definitely fitting for this one, and I will still continue to read Frida McFadden's books because I personally think they're just great stories, such a good plot twist always, and just really fast paced for me, which I typically love to read.